So hey everyone, today I'm actually just going to be talking about this whole Chrisley situation. If you know who the Chrisleys are, you know what I am talking about. Okay, y'all. I'm actually going to play a little video for you guys just so you guys get like a summary of what it is, and then I'm going to read the article that follows, and of course I'm gonna give my opinions as we go. Okay.
A jury in Atlanta convicted Todd and Julie Chrisley, stars of the reality TV show Chrisley Knows Best, on conspiracy charges to defraud banks out of more than $30 million. The Department of Justice says the Chrisleys used that money to buy luxury cars, designer clothes, and real estate. The Chrisleys' accountant, Peter Tarantino, was also found guilty yesterday. All three are scheduled to be sentenced in October. The Chrisleys' attorney said he does expect to appeal the case.
All right. The Chrisleys have some crazy stuff going on. Federal charges. All it is them stealing money. All right. So I got this article and I'm going to read it, and then I'm gonna give my little tidbits as we go. All right. So it says, the Chrisleys, they were found guilty on federal charges. All right. And before I even get into this, y'all, federal charges are no joke. This is not a game. This is not, whatever. So this is some serious stuff that these people have gotten themselves into. All right. It says Todd and Julie Chrisley of the show Chrisley Knows Best. And for y'all who don't know what Chrisley Knows Best is essentially just a reality TV show with this extremely rich, or supposed to be anyways, white family. They're Southerners, they're the true Southerners or whatever, right? They got all the money, and it's just a reality TV show that just shows their life, how they live in this nice big house, all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna be real, I love that show. It's not like, I really love that show. That show is so much fun to watch. I love the mom, Todd's mom. I love her. I love Todd. I love all his, all that. I love that show. So watching the video, reading the article, I was like, I knew about it before, but I was like, you know what I mean? But then after reading more and more of this, it started making me mad, and not like, man, I feel so bad for them, but it was mad. I was mad because I was like, y'all really did this, yo? Y'all really did this? It was making me mad at them for even doing this kind of stuff. And you'll know once I go through with this. It says Todd and Julie Chrisley were found guilty Tuesday in Atlanta on federal charges, including bank fraud and tax evasion. All right, y'all, that right there is no joke. Okay, I know that they did something similar with Wesley Snipes, because he was like trying to be part of some kind of whatever, where My Own City or something like that. The whole bunch of other white people were doing, and they made an example out of him because he was like, I could do this and I ain't gotta pay taxes, and then they got him and then they put him in jail. You know what I mean? But they didn't put the other people in jail. So it's, after knowing that, I'm like, nah, you don't want to mess around with this. You know what I mean? Not especially when you have money. It says the Chrisleys were initially indicted in August 2019, and a new indictment was filed in February of this year. Their trial began 3 weeks ago, and a jury on Tuesday found them guilty of conspiring to defraud community banks out of more than, wait for it, y'all, $30 million in fraudulent loans, according to the U.S. attorney Ryan Buchanan in Atlanta. They were also found guilty of conspiring to defraud the IRS and tax evasion. All right. They were convicted. Julie Chrisley was convicted of wire fraud and obstruction of justice. Bruce Morris, an attorney of Todd Chrisley, said that he was disappointed with the verdict and expects to appeal. So obviously so when you appeal it, it's like, we're going to try to redo it again and get a different outcome out of all this. Prosecutors alleged that the Chrisleys submitted fake documents to banks when applying for loans. They said Julie Chrisley also submitted a fake credit report and fake bank statements when trying to rent a house in California. They used a company they controlled to hide income to keep the IRS from collecting unpaid taxes owed by Todd Chrisley. So with that little part right there, I'm going to put that part definitely up on the screen. But it said they used a company that they controlled to hide income to keep the IRS from collecting unpaid taxes owed by Todd Chrisley. So in a different article that I read in regards to this, they were saying that with this bank that they had, or this other companies that they used to hide income from the IRS, what they ended up essentially doing, because if they put it in Todd's name, it would have been a huge red flag. Like, no, he already owes back taxes. You can't, ding, 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 ding. So they end up putting it hers, so it wouldn't ring the alarm. From what I heard about this as well, was all the money that they made, at least from this other article that I read, they were saying that all the money that they made from, Chrisley Knows Best, that's the TV show that was on TV, from the Chrisley Knows Best, maybe any other sponsorships or whatever other companies that paid them to, promote the business, whatever the case may be. From what I heard, they end up putting all that monies into this account. Okay. So that's what this account really was for that purpose alone, solely, for the most part anyways. It says, after they were found guilty, the U.S. District Judge Eleanor Ross allowed the Chrisleys to remain free on bond. Okay, so they're guilty, and she allowed them to remain free on bond, but she placed them on location monitoring and home detention, meaning they can only leave the home for certain reasons, including work, medical appointments, court appearances, stuff like that. They also had to alert the probation officers to anything, any kind of spending that they had that was over $1,000. Okay. So they said an accountant was hired by the couple, was found guilty for conspiring as well to defraud the U.S. All right. And willfully filing false tax returns. All right. So, and they said that he was free on bond as well. So what you're having is people who, they said, tax evasion, they're committing fraud. They're having all these, BS bank accounts and all types of stuff, right? They're getting $30 million in loans, and I remember watching the show, and Todd Chrisley, he was actually but he bought like an entire lot. So it was like one of those quote unquote communities. He bought, an entire lot. Maybe it had about 10 houses on there or so, at least from that episode that I watched. And, he was like, yeah, I'm gonna make this, a nice little house area, and, my, son, hey, you could help do this and that and that and the third. So they're showing like, hey, I got money, I got Louis Vuitton, I got Gucci, I got this, I got that, this. So what you're having, and this is kind of similar to what Donald Trump is doing or did, where he was getting all of these loans from these banks. Trump was getting all of these loans from these banks, and they were quick to loan him the money. Like, hey, oh, you need how much? Okay, boom. Oh, you need 500? Boom. You need that? Okay, boom, boom, boom. But then he was not paying any of this money back. So that was the kicker. You're asking for all these loans, but then you ain't paying any of this money back. So it's essentially them just giving you free money and you being like, okay, cool, right? And that's essentially what's happening here. Now, from what I heard, and this is kind of what I'm thinking really happened. Well, one guy really, was like, he was spilling all the beans. That's how they know about all the extra stuff that was going on. But what I'm thinking is they already had some kind of investigation going on anyways. The federal government looking in, being like, that don't look right. Who trying to talk? You know what I mean? And what I'm thinking happened was the guy was like, okay, well, I'll talk to you, but I want immunity from all this stuff. So I really think that is what essentially ended up happening anyways. Maybe he got immunity or maybe he got a much lower sentence, but being like, okay, I'm ratting all these people out. So this is also another thing that kind of bothers me, is because you you guys put up this facade. Oh, the Southern Bells, we're the Southern Bells. We're, this perfect Southern family. We're great. Look at our house. We get a perfect education for our kids. We do this, we do that, da 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 da. But you're stealing left and right. Meanwhile, you have your regular Joes out here who are really working. They're working, trying to make ends meet, and they just keep, every time they put their toe up, someone just goes like this. It knocks it off every single time. Hey, I need a loan for some. I need to see some more documents. I don't know if I could give you all of that. You asking for too much. Meanwhile, you're giving $30 million out in loans to people who already got money. Well, they already got money, so I know they're good for you. But I don't know about you and your broke ass. That's what you're saying. I mean, that's really what you're saying. So they're okay to scam y'all. Steal money, do all this stuff. Any other politician as well, stealing money. Y'all could do whatever y'all want, just taking left and right. Meanwhile, have me do it. Nope, we gonna get you on this. We're gonna get you on this. We're gonna get you on that. We're gonna make sure you do this. Try us if you want. Meanwhile, you're letting them do it. And you let them do it for a while too. Had it be any regular Joe, they would have had in a few months. They'd be like, you trying to go to jail? What we doing? You got to pay your taxes. Meanwhile, these people could just go on and on and on without paying taxes. You got lawyers putting in fraudulent information. I mean, it's just crazy. And what I do wonder, though, is in regards to like their children, because I know that their daughter, Savannah, I know she has, I think it's called like Savvy or something. Like she has her own like makeup, kind of skincare kind of business or whatnot. So I wonder, are they going to say like, well, maybe she needs to get got too because she's benefiting from it, unless this is some money from some other thing. But if this guy, their tax guy and lawyer, whatever, was dealing with paperwork and whatnot with her stuff too, could that possibly be something where they're like, okay, well, you gonna get got as well? So I do wonder. Another thing that I did read that I'm not seeing in this article, but I did see it in a different one. Let me see. Yeah, I'm not really seeing it in this article. Oh, and there is another part that I do want to talk about. Oh, here it is. I just found it. It said they operated a loan out company that collected their income from the show and other ventures and kept the corporate bank account in Julie Christie's name. This is what I told you about earlier. To avoid collection of $500,000 due in back taxes. This is what I said before. They didn't want to put in his because we put in his. They're going to be like, oh, but you owe $500,000 in taxes. Ding, 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 ding. So they're like, oh, let's move it over here. So that's essentially what happened. It said when the IRS asked for information on the bank accounts, they transferred ownership to Todd Chrisley's mother. Let me repeat that. When the IRS asked for information on the bank accounts, they transferred ownership to Todd Chrisley's mother to try to further hide his income from the tax authorities. So again, and they don't mention that little part on there. And apparently in one kind of talk show, some radio show that he was in, he said, yeah, I pay $750,000 to $1 million in taxes every year, but that obviously ain't true. So what I do wonder though is this. You're putting that fake account, whatever, into your mother's name. I think her name's like Faye. I think her name is Faye. I think that's what they call her. So you're putting it into your mama's name. So another thing I do wonder, is she getting any kind of backlash? I mean, is she just a person that just didn't know and or did she know and was knowing that y'all were committing fraud and doing all this other stuff? And she was like, okay, yeah, you can put it in my name. That's fine. Or was it one of those things where it was like, hey mom, I need to open up a bank account in your name, it's no big deal. Or why do you it's no big deal. I don't worry about it, take care of it. But I just need to open one up. And then she said, yeah. So I also wonder, like, is she going to be facing some kind of probation, some kind of jail time, federal charges being put upon her because technically she's involved because it is her name in the bank account. I'm on the bank account. So I also wonder about that. I just, it's just completely unnecessary. I mean, you're making all this money before. And like they said they put the money into a separate bank account up in Julie Christie's name when they had the show. And the show's been on for years, y'all. When they had the show, and in any other residual stuff that they got from that, sponsorships, other commercials, ads, whatever. Because I used to follow, I think I still do follow them on Instagram, and they'll be doing ads for other companies and stuff like that. So I wonder, you guys been doing that. It's not one of these little scenarios where it's like, oh well, they would have stopped. They would have stopped. No, because you were doing that when the show was going on. So you guys had no intentions on ever stopping, because you guys just did not think that you were ever going to get caught. So that's my problem that I have with this. And it's just like, it's so greedy. It's so greedy and unnecessary. And I wonder, they said that they're going to get federal charges put upon them. But do you really think how bad of the federal charges do you think that they're actually going to have? Do you think that they're really going to get jail time? I really don't think they would. And if they do, it may be like a month and then they're back out, because that's usually how these people with money do it. They usually just get like, maybe probation, a month, a couple months, 8 months or so, and then they're back out doing what it is that they're doing. That these people, I'm not saying, they're not dangerous. You know what I mean? They're just stealing money. But, so I wouldn't say like, oh man, y'all need to be locked up in jail, but y'all letting them go out and do anything. Meanwhile, had it been anybody else, y'all be, oh no, we got to put you in jail for a little bit. You're letting people out on bond. But this also goes into what I was saying about bond in regards to other kinds of crimes that people be doing. Because you have people who, let's say they're doing, I've seen murder and stuff like that, killing people, shooting people, you have guns, aggravated battery, whatever the case may be. And then you turn around and they're like, oh yeah, this person has been in and out of jail. They got out on bond. I'm like, what you putting people out on bond for, y'all? So I really want to know what's going to go on with this whole situation. They said, I believe it's going to be in October, if I'm not mistaken. I'll go and try to see if I can pull it up. But I think they said it was going to be in October. I'm not sure. I think they said it was going to be in October that they're going to, get the sentencing and stuff like that. Because like I said, that they're already on house arrest, limited house arrest, or whatever they want to call them. So I am curious what it is that they're going to do about this whole situation. And if their kids are going to be involved, because they technically benefited from all of this stuff. So would you be putting them like in a doghouse too, the mama, because her name was on it, other people's businesses that they may have? How is that going to look? They owe X amount of money. They've been lying. Are you going to start taking their homes away? I'm just very curious about what it is that's going to actually be happening. I would love to know your thoughts and opinions on this situation. And until then.